There are a lot of hunter pets to tame in WoW, but some of them actually have an additional criteria to be able to tame them. And those are going to be these various tomes that allow you to tame a different tree of pets. So in this video, I'm going to run through how to obtain all of those different tomes and items to unlock all of the different hunter pets and some of the coolest tames you can get once you get those tomes. First up, we have the Ancient Tome of Dinomancy. And this, if you're a Zandalari, you're going to know this by default. You don't actually need this tome. For everyone else though, you will need to pick this up, and it's going to drop from the Zandalari Dinomancers, which we can find on the Isle of Giants, which is going to be north of Kunlai Summit in Pandaria. You're basically just going to head out there, you're going to run around the island, kill all the Dinomancers off, and eventually you will get this book. It is on a low drop chance of around 1%, so you might be doing this for quite a while before you do get the book. And unfortunately, this book is only for the character that uses it. It is not account wide, so all your characters that are hunters will need to get this book too. Once you get this book, you're now able to tame Direhorns, and the Direhorn we're going to talk about in particular is Horadon. This is pretty easy to pick up, but it is one of 2 armored Direhorns that you can get. Looks really good. And to get this, we simply just want to head to the Isle of Thunder. If you've not unlocked that before, there will be a short quest line to do at the Shadowpan Garrison in Townlong Steppes. You'll do that quest line, you'll be sent to the Isle of Thunder. We can head to the Throne of Thunder raid, doesn't matter what difficulty you're on. You want to kill the first boss and make your way to the second boss, and then you'll be able to tame Horadon, which will give you that cool armored Direhorn. The next item up will be the Mecha Bond Imprint Matrix, and this can be crafted by Legion Engineering, or alternatively it can be bought and sold on the auction house for around 15 to 20k gold. Although if you are a gnome, a goblin, or a mecha gnome, you don't need this item, you can tame mechanical beasts by default. Once again, this is not an account-wide unlock, so each character that wants to be able to tame mechanical pets will have to get their hands on this item. In terms of some of the better pets you can tame with this item, honestly, one of the better items you can pick up because there are a lot of really good mechanical based pets. I'm going to run through a handful because it was really hard to pick one in particular I liked the most. The first to talk about is Tecton, which is going to be a mechanical exploding sheep, and this we can pick up just from near Stormwind. There's going to be a little house that we can find on like the rocks above Stormwind, and there's going to be an exploding sheep that will kind of run towards you. If it reaches you, it explodes, so you need to be able to tame it before it does reach you and explode. Very cool pet though, I think it's a good one. Next is going to be the Mechanical Chicken, which is 00X Fleetfoot/MG, and this we can get on the Isle of Mechagon. However, it isn't going to be available every day. It's only going to be there when one of the visiting NPCs is Oglethorpe. Once the NPC is there though, you're going to be able to see this spawn. It'll run around the island really fast. Do you want to get ahead of it on its kind of running path? You want to use a stun or a slow and then begin the tame, and you need to get the tame finished before it runs out of range again because it won't stop to attack you. The next pet is going to be Nuts, and this is a mechanical squirrel. And this will actually keep the title as well. It's like name unique with being with the N.U.T.Z. So if you want that unique naming too, it will keep that once you tame it. And this is a rare spawn we can find within Ajara, but it will have a few steps to be able to get the rare to spawn. So first of all, we're going to head out here into the secret lab within Ajara. You're going to click the book, and the book will start kind of like the activation sequence. Once we've clicked the book, you're going to go outside, and you have to click on some devices. So the first we need to click is the Thorium Manifold, which is going to be over here. Next, we're going to click the button, the Antimatter Containment. Once that is done, we can head over to the Flux Containment Release, and then we're going to go over here to the Hydro Sync Router, and then a goblin will yell, the rare will spawn, and now you can get your tame on that rare. And that's just a handful of the mechanical pets that are good, but there's things like the Iron Juggernaut pets that you can get from Siege of Orgrimmar. It's going to be the Golden Phalanx that can only be tamed if you're on a specific quest, so if you've done that quest, you're out of luck. There's some really good mechanical pets, so I definitely recommend picking this up and look into the full list of mechanical pets available. The next one up is going to be the Tome of Bone Binding, and this will allow you to tame certain undead tames. If you're an undead hunter though, you will not need this item, and this one is account wide, so once you do finally get a drop of it, all your hunters on your account will be able to tame undead beasts now. In terms of getting your hands on this, it's going to have quite a varied amount of places, but it's basically going to be centered around Maldraxxus and the dungeons within Maldraxxus. So you can head out there, kill mobs, you'll have a chance of getting it from most of the mobs you can find within that zone. But what I would recommend in particular is doing the Plaguefall dungeon. Just go in there, clear it out, and you'll have a chance of looting it from the mobs in there. If you don't get it on that run, just run out, reset, and go again until you do get it dropped. But it's up to you where you decide to farm for this. If you've got other goals and other things that you're doing within the zone, it could be a good time to knock that out while you're trying to get the book. Once you get the book, most of my favorites for this come from BFA. One of them is going to be Razan, which we can pick up in a Taldazar. You can just run inside the dungeon and tame Razan straight up by killing like one pack of trash before him, so very simple to pick up. Although this is an exotic beast, so you will need beast mastery to tame this, but a really cool looking undead devil saw. Also, while you're nearby to a Taldazar, you could run King's Rest, and the last boss in King's Rest has two different undead raptors that we can pick up. One is the initial one he's riding on, which is going to be Tazala, and as long as you don't DPS him too fast, so I'd recommend taking off all your gear, maybe using like a world shrinker or something just to get your damage lower, but make sure you don't kill the main boss. And the raptors will progressively spawn. The first one will be Tazala, and later on Rabant will spawn, and you'll be able to tame both of these in the dungeon, and both are going to be more unique. One's going to be more like a mummified one, and one's going to be kind of dead but has the full armor on. So it's up to you which one you prefer more, or if you want both of them, you can grab both during the fight. There is also going to be a pretty cool alliance only tame, and that is going to be Grong the Revenant. You're going to pick this up by doing Battle of Dazara Law. You're going to head inside and you'll get to Grong himself, and you'll just be able to tame the boss, which is going to be this really big hulking undead gorilla. So if you want that, you can pick that up as Alliance. The next one to talk about will be another Shadowlands drop, and that will be the Gargon Training Manual. And this will be able to pick up in Revendraft from a rare called Huntmaster Petrus. And as long as you're a hunter, you kill this rare and you will get the book guaranteed to drop as long as the rare is available, which nowadays it normally is. So once you kill that rare, you can loot the book, and this will allow all hunters on your account to now be able to tame Gargons. Now, unfortunately, there isn't many very cool Gargons. The really cool ones are not tameable currently. Maybe that will change in the future. So for now, the two we're going to talk about will be the two saddle ones, which actually come along with the rare that we've just killed. So what we could do is kill the rare itself, just only the rare, not its two beasts, so don't do any kind of cleave. You're going to loot the book, learn the book, and then try and tame the beasts. But they are quite kind of weird and buggy, where once the main guy is dead, you only have like a window to be able to tame the two beasts, and the main guy does need to die before you can tame the two beasts. So if you want those and you come back later for the rare, do make sure you do kill the Petrus first, and then you're able to tame its two beasts that it has along with it. And once you do that, you will pick up two saddled Gargons. The next one up to talk about will be the blood-soaked Tome of Dark Whispers, and for this all we need to do is head inside Uldir. You're going to clear through. You can't do this on LFR though, it has to at least be normal. So you're going to clear through the raid, which is very trivial now as a max level character, and you're going to get yourself to Zul. Once you kill Zul, you will get the book guaranteed drop, and once you learn this, it will allow all your characters to be able to tame blood beasts on your account. There's some okayish looking blood beasts, but the more recent one that's been added is honestly my favorite because it's just a lot more unique, and that is going to be the Phase Lost Krog. To access this, we will need to get ourselves access to Koresh, and once in Koresh, you do need to progress the main quest line to the point where you can do phase diving. Once in phase diving, we can head over here to find some phase lost Krogs, and we can pick one up, and it will keep its weird like purpley spectral looking kind of glow that it has going on, which will make it stand out a lot compared to typical blood beasts. The next one up is going to be Ottuk Taming, which came with Dragonflight, and to get this you do need to reach renown 11 with the Iskara Tuskar. Now I'm not too sure if the brand new class boost that came with Midnight allows you to get the renown with Dragonflight like the previous expansion ones did, but if you had a previous expansion class boost, that should get you renown 20 with the Iskara Tuskar straight away, so you don't have to do any questing or renown grinding. You can just have access to what we need to be able to get this book. If not though, if you're not able to get your renown up through some special methods, and instead what you'll want to do is just head to the quest line in Azurspan. You're going to go through the main campaign until you're kind of doing stuff with the Iskara Tuskar. Once you're done with that, you want to kind of be stopping the main campaign and just focus on side quests that give rep with Iskara Tuskar. There is also going to be the event that happens, and you can get some reputation from that when that is going on. That'll be found within Iskara too. So just get yourself to renown 11. Once you are renown 11, there will be a new quest line that pops up in Valdrakken. This will be the breadcrumb for the quest line, and we can pick this up from Rowie, and this will take you and begin the quest chain. And once you finish this full quest chain, which will be about 14 quests, something like that, you'll do the While the Iron is Hot, and this will give you access to Ottuk Training for your entire account. Now unfortunately there isn't any particularly cool or unique Ottuk that we can pick up, but there will be 5 different color variants, so if you do want an Ottuk pet, just pick the color that you want and go and tame it. and you will get yourself a cute Ottuk pet. The next one up to talk about will be how to train a Dragonkin, and this is also needed for another one we'll talk about later, which will be the Cloud Serpents. You do need to get your hands on this first before you can tame Cloud Serpents, which is unfortunate because Cloud Serpents were their own thing originally, and then they were bundled in with this book too. So you do need to do a little bit more work to get your hands on Cloud Serpents now. To get your hands on the Dragonkin book, you do need to reach Renown 23 with the Valdrakken Accord, which will be a Dragonflight reputation, and the book will only appear for a hunter character. So if you do reach Renown 23, do make sure you do head to the vendor on your hunter to be able to purchase it. In terms of getting the Renown, once again, if you have a character boost that you can use, especially one of the older ones, then you'll get some free Renown from that. If you've not got any of that, you don't have access to that stuff, then it is going to be quite a bit of a grind. I would recommend doing the main campaign within Thaldraszus. I would recommend doing some of the weekly stuff like the Obsidian Citadel weekly, the Siege on Dragonbane Keep. There's going to be some world quests you can do in the zone. There's going to be side quests and campaign quests that we can do that will give some reputation too. And then outside of that, there's not going to be any really good methods. If you do these stuff over at Obsidian Citadel and you keep handing in the boxes, you will get a little bit of rep from that, so you can kind of mob grind your way up if you wish. Or you can fly around Thaldraszus and loot boxes and you'll get these Titan relics that we can hand in for some reputation too. It's not going to be great though. This is going to be a slower rep grind. So if you've not got a character boost that you can make use of, do expect to be doing this for a little while. Once you do get your hands on the book though, it is account wide, meaning all your hunters now are able to tame these Dragonkins. And the ones to highlight in particular for these are going to be two pets. The first will be a Spirit Darter, which we can find in Jade Forest within Mr. Pandaria. And these are just going to be these blue spectrally looking Spirit Darters. They look pretty good, so worth picking up. I quite like them a lot. And then the next pet to pick up will be Shanalar Lost to the Tangle. This is going to be like a feathered dragon. Looks pretty good, and it is the only one of this color variant that we can pick up from this kind of like feathered dragon family. To get this, we need to head to Ardenweald, and we're going to head to kind of the bottom left corner of the zone, and you should find it there in its like a nest. You'll be able to tame this and get yourself that pet too. So now that you can tame lesser dragons, we can talk about the next one, which will be how to tame Cloud Serpents. And to get that, you need the book How to School Your Serpent, which can be used by any class, and once you use it, all your hunters on your account can now tame Cloud Serpents. The way you get this book is you need to reach Exalted with the Order of the Cloud Serpent, and this isn't too bad depending on how much competition you've got. But to get this rep started, you want to head to the Arboretum found in Jade Forest. You can have an intro quest that will send you to the Windwood Isle. You'll do some stuff there, you'll pick your egg that you want, and then once you're done with that stuff, you can now hand that in, and you'll be able to start handing in these Onyx eggs. You'll find these all around Windwood Isle. What I definitely recommend doing is flicking yourself onto war mode and flying around so you've got less competition. There can be a lot up at once, so if you don't see many, there's probably someone else just been there, but you can have like 10 to 15-ish up at a time. So do make sure you're looking in the bushes, on top of the hills, all that stuff. I will have a rough map up now showing you the potential locations. And once you get eggs, you can hand them back in at the Arboretum, and you'll get about 500 reputation per egg you hand in. The other thing to note is once you hit Revered, you can speak to the Quartermaster, and they'll sell you an item that now doubles reputation gains all the way to Exalted. So once you buy that, you'll be able to now get 1,000 reputation per egg all the way up to Exalted, so do make sure you pick that up. If you've just done a lap on Windwood Isle and you've not found many eggs or whatever, what you can also do is head to Timeless Isle, which is just kind of off the coast of Jade Forest. I would recommend leaving a different character over there, and what you're going to do is kill these like Crimson Scale Firestorm Cloud Serpents, and these will have a chance of dropping you a Quivering Firestorm egg. And we can hand these in once again back at the Arboretum for 1,000 reputation, and these can be mailed to different characters too. So what you do is use this other character, you'd get a few eggs, you'd mail them back to your main character that's doing the rep. You'd hand those in for 1,000 once you get the item at Revered where it doubles the rep. You're now getting 2,000 reputation per egg, and you can kind of grind this out until you feel like the Onyx eggs have respawned again. You can do a lap of Onyx eggs and get your reputation up that way, and this way it can be done pretty quick if you just want to grind it out in one session. Otherwise, what I'd recommend is just kind of doing a lap for Onyx eggs, logging out, coming back in like 30-40 minutes, something like that, and then doing another lap for Onyx eggs and keep repeating that until you do reach Exalted. In terms of the interesting pickups, there's actually going to be some that I like. Cloud Serpent's one of my more favorite kind of mount and beast type to grab. So there's going to be a few I'm going to list here. First of all is Raylun, which is going to be that Azure Heavenly Cloud Serpent model. Now to get this to spawn though, you do need a few things to happen. First of all, you do need to have done the BFA quest lines where you've got to the point where you can see the kind of attack, the assaults of N'Zoth within the Veil of Eternal Blossoms. If you don't see that, you're gonna have to get yourself back to BFA, do that quest lines, go through like the Nazjatar unlock and stuff, and then you'll be sent to help Magna. you'll work on your cloak and things like that. Once you've done all of that, you now should be able to see the assaults happen in Vale, and you should have 2 different phases of Vale available. And now what's going to happen is it's going to be assaulted by 3 different factions. One of those factions can be the Mogu, and once the Mogu are attacking, we can head into the Gulai vaults, and right at the bottom will be the rare to tame. Now there is one thing to keep in mind though, this rare can drop an item called the Pristine Cloud Serpent Scale, which you can turn in for a mount. So there are going to be some people camping this to kill it for the mount, and if you've not got the mount yourself, you should probably also give this a kill too. But eventually, if there's no people around, I'd definitely wait until no one's there. Once again, maybe try war mode, and then tame it, so then you're not disrupting other people's gameplay. But once you've got the tame, now you've got a very cool Cloud Serpent. The next one's going to be an easy one to pick up, and that will be Nilak. We can find that outside of the Throne of Thunder on the Isle of Thunder, and you'll head over there. It is a world boss that can drop a mount once again though, so there might be a few people around waiting to kill it. Once again, try war mode, but if no one's around, you can tame this and get yourself a Thundering Cobalt Cloud Serpent as a pet. If you want a Heavenly Onyx Cloud Serpent and you've got the mount, you want to kind of do a mount match with your pet, then one that you can pick up is Sulong, and we can head inside the Terrace of Endless Springs raid. You're going to go inside there, you're going to kill the first boss, and then the second boss will spawn, which will be Sulong, and we can simply just tame that to get that pet. The final one of these I wanted to talk about isn't going to be accessible by all of you because the item we need for it is currently bugged, but that will be this kind of white Thundering Cloud Serpent. And to get this, what we need to do is have an item called the Nihileth Sliver of Enzoth. And how we got that was doing war mode in BFA. We'd kill X amount of players, and then you would get a quest pop up, and you'd go do that quest, and you would get this item that would allow you to turn it into a neutral person, allowing you to kill any faction. Unfortunately though, doing the criteria to get this item is currently bugged, and you will not be able to obtain it. But if you had it in the past, then what we can do is head to the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, once again with the kind of N'Zoth assaults happening. You're going to use this item, and now the Vajani War Serpents are normally in the camp that are friendly, now turn into neutral enemies that you can tame, and then you will get yourself one of these pets. The final book to talk about will be one that's needed for quite a lot of pets as well, and this will be the Hybrid Beast Taming. Now, this is a item that once you've unlocked it, you can purchase it and send it to your other hunters, but simply using it will not give your other hunters access, so you will need to send the book to them for them to be able to tame the Hybrid Beast also. Now, getting your hands on this though is going to be quite a task if you've not touched any Legion content. First of all, you will need a hunter to go through the Legion kind of order hall campaign stuff, and you will want to complete the achievement A Glorious Campaign, which is basically just to complete the various campaign missions. You will be a bit time gated on this because you will need to do these kind of mission board missions. It'll take a few hours. Once done with that, you did need to previously do Breaching the Tomb, but I don't know if that is still required because there is kind of like a skip if you've already done it, but I don't know if players who have never done this also get the skip. But if you haven't done that and you're not getting access to the next stages, then you may need to do the Breaching the Tomb achievement, which is to do all of the stuff within the Legion Fall campaign on the Broken Shores. That is going to take quite a bit of time as well if you do need to do that. Once you've done all of that, you will get a quest pop-up called a Golden Ticket, which you can find within the Hunter Order Hall. You'll pick that up, you'll be led onto the Night of the Wilds, which will be the final part of the kind of Order Hall campaign. And once you finish all of that stuff, you will get yourself your hands on being able to pick up some mounts and also the Tome of Hybrid Beast Taming. And we can pick that up from Pan the Kind Hand, which we'll find within the kind of True Shot Lodge, and they'll sell this for 1,000 resources. Once again, if you want your other hunters to be able to use this, you will need to purchase on the character that just did all of that stuff and mail it over to them. In terms of things that you can pick up with this, there is a lot because it's basically anything that is a hybrid beast. So that's going to be things like hippogriffs, it's going to be things like wind riders, it's going to be the Slyvens, it's going to be these weird like owl bears that you could pick up in the Emerald Dream, it's going to be the owl cats, it's going to be the wolf hawks. There's going to be a lot of stuff you can grab with this, but it's something I definitely recommend picking up to unlock on your account because there's probably going to be more stuff that's unlocked with this in the future as well. The ones I'm going to pick out in particular though are both hippogriffs, because hippogriff is one of my more favorite kind of mount and beast type, so those are the ones that I want to talk about. The first one up is going to be Netherbeak. And this is an interesting tame because it is going to be a somewhat rare, but it's going to be more of like a challenge tame. So the way this is going to work is there will be a beast that's flying around Azuna. And what you need to do for this is first of all turn on Track Hidden. So this is going to be a special hunter tracking thing that you can turn on within the map. You're going to start tracking hidden, and then you're going to fly up to this area, and you're going to fly kind of like up and down-ish. And eventually you should be able to spot it. You might see the dot on the map, or you might see it kind of like cloaked. Once you know where it is, you can kind of get in a position where it's going to fly near you. You can start beginning the tame and you can get your hands on that pet. The next hippogriff I wanted to mention was Lalathin, and this is found in the uninstanced version of Nighthold. Previously, it used to only spawn within Nighthold when a particular quest was available, but they've changed that and just made it basically permanently available. So we can head to this section within the Nighthold. You're gonna have to do a bit of running around and make sure you're not in the instance version though. We need to be in the version that's out in the world, and inside there we'll be able to pick up the pet. If it's recently been tamed, that's fine. It's not long of a respawn, like sub 5 minutes, so just hang around, it will respawn again, and then you can start the tame and get your hands on this pet. So that does bring us to the end of the video. Hopefully now you know how to get all of the various different tomes, and also you've got some interesting pets to give you motivation to get these items so you can go tame those pets too. If there was a pet that I didn't list that was a must grab for you once you got your hands on one of these tomes, let me know what that is down in the comments below. Outside of that, look out for more guides coming soon. Thanks for watching guys, see ya.